Hello! Before we get into this video, I wanted to share a joke with you. My daughter just told me. She said, "Mom, where do generals keep their armies?" When I said I didn't know, she said, "In their sleeveys." Get it? They keep their armies in their sleeveys? Alright, now let's dig into this video. We're going to talk about summarizing text, or how to write a summary for a fictional story. Remember, a summary is a short description of the most important parts of the story, including the theme. Summaries should be short and sweet because they only contain the most important parts. They include the story elements of the main characters, important events, and the theme. Summaries are not a list, nor are they a retelling. Remember, a retelling tells everything in the story. Summaries only tell the most important parts. Summaries should not be long. When you tell someone about your day, you include the most important people, places, and events, but you leave out a lot of the details. Similarly, a summary of a story is just a short description. It only includes the main characters, the important events, and the theme. When reading a story, you might have a personal opinion or a feeling about the story. You also might make judgments about the story, whether you think the story is believable, well written, whether you liked and believe something might happen. Although it's great to have opinions and make judgments, you do not include them in a summary. A summary is supposed to be objective, which means summaries only tell the facts or what happened in the story. We're going to use a cartoon to practice what it's like to make a summary. We're going to learn to focus on only the most important details and to leave out our personal opinions or judgments about what we see in the cartoon. These pictures tell a story. Which details would you include in a summary of the picture? Look at the characters, the setting, and the events, what you think is happening. What lesson could someone learn from the events in the story? Let's take a look at the summary that someone wrote about these pictures. It says, "In an unrealistic story, a boy and girl enter a living room and see drips coming from the ceiling. Although confused at first, they at least have the sense to check the bathroom above the living room. There, they discover the water is from an overflowing bathtub, confirming that the first step in solving any problem is figuring out the source." Alright, so we said that a summary should include the characters. And in these pictures, we can see that the characters are a girl and a boy. We said that a summary should include a theme, a life lesson. The boy and girl learned that it's important to investigate or always try to find the identity or the source of a problem. So that would be the theme of this cartoon. Now we have to think about the important events. The important events would be that the boy and the girl come into the living room and notice a drip in the ceiling. They looked confused, but when they go upstairs to the bathroom above the living room, they see that water is overflowing from the bathtub, which means and confirms that when you see a problem, you should always figure out the source. Looking at the summary that one of the students wrote, we can see that they included some personal opinions and some judgments about the cartoon in a summary. A summary only includes the facts from the story. So let's look at the story again and cross out anything that should not be in the summary. It says, in an unrealistic story, a boy and girl enter a living room and see drips coming from the ceiling. Already, I see that we need to cross out in an unrealistic story. The fact that it says an unrealistic story is the person's opinion. Remember, summaries do not include opinions or judgments, just the facts. So now we have a boy and girl enter a living room and see drips coming from the ceiling. That's an important detail. Although confused at first, they at least have the sense to check the bathroom above the living room. Again, I see the author has made a judgment. They said they at least have the sense. We need to cross out at least have the sense, because that's the author's judgment. He's saying that he thinks it's great that they thought to check out the bathroom, but that's not a fact of a story. So now we have, although confused at first, they check the bathroom above the living room. There, they discover the water is from an overflowing bathtub, confirming that the first step in solving any problem is figuring out the source. So, our summary now does not have any opinions or judgments in it, and it includes the main characters, a boy and girl, the main events. They enter a living room, they see it's dripping, they check out the bathroom above the living room, they discover the water is from a bathtub, and they included the theme that the first step in solving any problem is to figure out the source. So now we have a well-written summary that only includes the most important parts of the story. When you summarize, you will identify the most important details and have a better understanding of what you read.